right, so, well, if the prosecutor's version of what happened is correct, Jerome Carell was a young man driven by ambition and insecurity. He's a lot like most of us, except for one big difference. Well, he got caught. He was at the levers of a billion-dollar trading machine at Societe Generale, and the bank thinks he orchestrated a $7 billion fraud. So when we grow green with envy, how can we avoid getting out of control? Well, here's Dr. Keith Ablow, forensic psychiatrist and happy hour regular.
Tracy, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Keith.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you.
coming.
Pleasure.
All right, so greed takes over. It just does.
Well, greed takes over, but listen, there has to be the subsoil in your personality structure to just sort of lose it. Most of us aren't going to go to the extreme of risking incarceration. We're not going to steal from other people.
Yeah.
Right? But this person had a flaw in his character at some deep level. You know what? It became increasingly important for him to be perceived as successful. That person feels like a failure inside. It's all show, no go.
It's that addictive personality, and this is just how it came out. Could have been cocaine.
Could have been cocaine, because basically what are you doing? You're taking your pain, your internal suffering. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I'm valueless. And you're either dosing it with cocaine, if that's the case,
right,
or you're saying the glare of others looking at me saying, what a successful fellow. And the love bestowed upon him by superiors, the regard that he got, he was feeding off of it. It wasn't real because it was based on falsehood,
sure,
but it felt good to him.
But now this kid says that he was vying for the attention of his peers. That almost like they forced him into it because he wanted to sit at the boardroom table someday.
Well, listen, wanting to sit at the boardroom table is a very normal impulse. It's a good thing. It drives business forward. This is different than wanting to do it through duplicitous means. That means you have an internal weakness. I like to say all business is personal, because basically at a lower level there are people whose need for ego-driven perceived success overrides their judgment in the business world. They're people you can't rely on. And this is just that to an exponential degree, 1,000 times.
You know what, though? It is out there. It's everywhere, quite frankly, the greed.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we see it, truthfully, that's the reason the traders control the stock market. It's greed. It's just to ink that, another 50 cents out of a stock and then throw it off for the rest of us.
Listen, there is some finite distance between this fellow bilking billions from an entity and people who want the bigger house, right? And therefore they tie things together financially to try to be perceived by the community as successful, when really what they need is the truth. They need to say, listen, I want to do it step by step, I want it to be real. But how much and how many times have we learned in the past that the market's correct? The truth always wins. People get caught when they try to skirt the truth and reality in their personalities or in business.
But this has been going on for centuries. I mean, somewhere along the line, the Joneses came into play, and we all had to keep up with them. I'm not even sure who they are, quite frankly. But nevertheless, this is... I mean, back in the 50s, I had to have the Ford Fairmont. I mean, it just went on and on.
It did. And listen, jealousy is a very common emotion. I deal with it all the time in my practice. It's also an unspeakable thing. You have people joking about it. Hey, I'd really like to go on that vacation you're going on. But people, when they really feel jealous, they keep it to themselves. They don't share it with other people because it leads to people judging them as unreliable, as not loving, and therefore they keep it inside, and it really burns people up. It makes them do some things that otherwise they might not, and this is one person who did.
The truth shall set you free.
The truth always sets you free. It can be painful, though, for a little while, like a market correction.
Well, good line.
The doctor is in. Rely on me. I'll come by whenever you need.
And on that note.
Right. There we go.
Well, thank you so much,
Tracy,
Dr. Keith. All right, on tap, he's the man responsible for the future of Ground Zero, and he's here with us at the bar. Developer Larry Silverstein is dropping by when Happy Hour returns.